Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Silver Tears Tarot and happy Friday to you. So, this is the Happy Friday reading, but we're going to take a look at what sort of energies are coming about this weekend that you need to know about. We know it's Friday the 13th. But that means different things to different people. So I don't want to make any assumptions. Hopefully, what it means is that there's an auspicious air about it for you. I'm going to go ahead and just say already the way the energy feels waking up, it's pretty intense. But let's see what comes out in the cards. So it'll be a general reading for this collective. So it's not going to resonate with everybody, but if it does resonate with you, then by all means, you are invited to take a look at some of the other messages that have come through. Maybe think about subscribing, as these messages are all very much connected. And I think I'm going to start with this deck over here just to take a look at kind of that energetic backdrop. It's the energetic backdrop for the whole weekend. It's what you guys are being subjected to, you and your soulmate, what you're being subjected to, not necessarily what you are bringing to the energy, but the energetic and emotional backdrop that surrounds you. Let's see what we've got here. Well, we've got the Empress. There's a nice balanced energy in the background. A lot of intensity that I'm kind of just already feeling with this, but this is calm intensity in a lot of ways. This is something that is balanced and doesn't feel like it really needs to constantly be looking for ways to change, get more balanced. It's not as unstable of an energy as some of what we've been subjected to these last few readings. Let's see, it looks like we've got a couple of stacks that have popped up here, and we'll see how far down into each of them we get. All right, so first up is this Three of Wands. There's a sense of already being moving into something that is new, a sense of something, the stability is not yet there. I saw that Four of Wands over there. Didn't feel like it was really part of the reading, but I particularly note that we're not really in that part of things yet where everything is even and stable. However, the energy to build that is there, and something is already kind of in motion. So this is an energy of making things right. It's an energy of overall being successful. That's one other thing that really kind of wants to come out with it. I feel like it comes out with that Empress energy. The Six of Wands success energy comes out and kind of complements that Empress very nicely. The Justice energy is about getting into balance, but I feel like with this Empress, it's, once again, this is easier to attain. This is a good energy for this weekend. It's a nice, it's like having the perfect weather and having the opportunity to get out in it. That's sort of, I'm not saying that's the circumstances for everybody, but that's the kind of energy that it is, being able to take advantage of it. We have the King of Pentacles, feeling, this is almost that feeling of I should be able to take advantage of it, and feeling like you can kind of look yourself in the eye. Really kind of decent feelings there. This is confidence. It's, there's a confident backdrop. This is what's kind of happening beneath the surface. So this is great news. This is great news. This is exactly what you would want backing you up, because this is kind of the energy that's going to be, it's going to be backing you up. It's going to be bolstering your actions. So being able to accomplish or accommodate this truth, huge. If you guys have been watching for a while, I don't know, maybe it was back around January of this year, Ace of Swords was coming out in every reading, and it was all about truth, but not just hearing the truth or learning the truth, because there was a lot of truth that had already been learned. It was about being able to assimilate it into the worldview. That's a difficult thing to do, but it feels like very much, it's very much associated with a new opportunity or a new way of looking at an opportunity, I guess. So the opportunity itself may be something that you've already jumped into, something that you've already decided to engage, but there's going to be something about it that gives you a new perspective on that. And this truth, it's kind of what opens you up to it. This seems incredibly positive once again. Feel like it's relevant to both you and your person, which makes sense because this is the energy that you're swimming around in. Let's see what else. Boy, I couldn't ask for better energy for the two of you, I swear. It's, ooh, did something come in here? that one set wasn't for you. All right, so there's a sense of brokenheartedness, the return of brokenheartedness, but check this out. It's the return of brokenheartedness, but it's not going to be the same for everybody. So depending on how far you've made it down the road of healing, you may have a very different response to this. So you may look at it and say, okay, I recognize that there has been a sense of brokenheartedness here, and I recognize also that I no longer quite feel that way. There's a feeling of repairing or getting repaired, you know. Whereas I feel like that's kind of what happens with you, and you recognize, maybe you get a little bit nostalgic, but you also recognize how much progress you've made. With your person, they've been floundering somewhat and having a hard time kind of bringing truth into the equation for themselves. Kind of all along. And so this might be a little bit more jarring of a feeling for them than it is for you. They might be feeling a little bit more of some of that pain. And here's that Two of Cups that I wasn't sure if it was part of the reading, but it is, so it popped right back up. So this Two of Cups is about it's a union sort of feeling. It's a union sort of emotion. It's partnership. The two of you may not quite be ready to come into successful union, but this is the kind of energy where something can happen that makes you realize that there is a positive future here. You know, just, oh my goodness, I recognize we're both making progress. There is a sense, though, it sets the clock back a little bit. So I'm not sure. I mean, that almost implies that there's some sort of some of you are in no contact. And so for this, the way that this feels, it feels like there is contact. It feels like something does happen, or you come in. It doesn't have to be contact with them. It could potentially be contact with somebody else that exposes something for you, but it basically sets you back in your healing a little bit. So it's after this, you're going to sort of have the return of the heartbreak a little bit. And that's initially maybe early on in this, maybe right when you hear from them, and you realize, you know what, I think I'm okay with this. There's this sense of unity, sense of union, coming back together, but there is also something that sets you back a little bit in the way this works out. So you find out that union is in your future, and you can start to really feel it. But you also get a stronger sense of it not necessarily being ready just yet. That's kind of in the energy for this weekend. I feel like that's probably going to take different forms for different people. I get a lot of notes to say, here's the form that it took for me, and I'm always happy to hear that, but it just reinforces that it's like, wow, that it's these things really can take different forms for people. So I'm eager to see how this plays out for you guys. Let's look into what you need to know for the weekend, just kind of the energy of the weekend. What is happening that you need to know about this weekend? So we see a sense of union. Oop, I dropped some. Hold on. Okay. Sorry about that. None of those wanted to be part of the reading. Yeah, you feel there's a sense of union that kind of gets sparked over the course of this weekend. And whereas that's a really nice thing, I feel like it kind of sets something into motion that then you have to deal with all the rest of the elements of. But I think with this Empress up here, you're kind of more prepared than ever to deal with it. Okay, so you're moving towards something that is very much putting things into balance. But what you're going to discuss, what you're going to run across is a situation that is not particularly in balance. And I feel like it is an inspiration to you. Dropped another card. And this one does want to be in the reading. So we got the Five of Cups. Okay, so you run across new information here. I still think you're running across new information. Whether it is coming directly from this person via contact or not, you're running across some new information, but because of your level of healing, even though it is setting you back a little bit, I get the sense that you're approaching it in a much more balanced way with this Five of Cups. And I think your person is bringing it in a little bit more balanced of a way, but there is still something distinctly uneven, unbalanced, not quite right yet about this situation. That just goes with this Justice card. That just is part of the situation. Something here can't be set right. even with recognition from both of you that there needs to be greater balance. And even with this energy of balance in the backdrop, there's a sense of something that can't quite be set right, or you maybe don't have necessarily control over it to set it right. There's some reason that you aren't able to do this. King of Cups in the reverse says that emotions will be limited. I get the sense that could be on your side as well. King of Swords in the reverse says this one feels a little different from the King of Cups. This one feels like not being able to use your gifts of logic and being able to see through things and think through things. With the King of Cups here, with the limitation of the emotion, it necessarily limits the capacities, like under the King of Swords. But there's a strong sense of pushing away change. So this feels like it's mutual. Might be coming out a little differently for the two of you because there's so much progress. It feels to me like there's a lot of progress and you're riding high on the progress that, or at least they are, riding high on the progress that they've made, but running into you, coming in contact with you, sets into motion more of this fast-moving energy like we see here with the Eight of Wands that they kind of feel like they can't deal with. There's a desire to approach this in a balanced way, but with the feeling of union. We've got the Two of Cups, we've got the Lovers card, both of them coming up in a, it's like you've come around the bend and the finish line is right in front of you kind of energy. There's no stopping now kind of energy. That's what we feel here. And yet there's this sense of not feeling ready with the Queen of Pentacles in the reverse. It's not feeling ready with the Death card in the reverse. It's not feeling ready with the King of Cups. It's actually withdrawing emotionally a little bit. With the King of Swords, it's not looking at the big picture. With the Devil in reverse, it's saying, I want to get comfortable with this new learning. Devil in reverse is great news. That represents lessons learned. But what's happening here is a desire to kind of lean back on those and not learn another one just now. But it's like it's coming at you. So there's lessons coming at you. I'm curious to know what those lessons are that are coming at you, or kind of just what you can expect. Like, what does that look like? Maybe we'll look into that when we get into the extended, if it doesn't show up a little bit more here. But there's definitely that connection between the two of you, that bond that really just seems to kind of keep coming. It is very much the energy of something that keeps coming. Yeah. And now we have the Tower card and the Ten of Cups. Okay. So this is the energy of hang on to your seat. So it is, this is something amazing heading your direction, but you really, really have to assess this. And it's it's energy that is between you and your person. So this could be your person moving your direction, but, once again, you're very much amazed by them. You're very much, with this Tower card, there's emotionally tumultuous sort of behavior that's happening, activity that's happening here. I get the sense, there's definitely, you get taken aback. This may be part of why the healing gets pushed back, because this is it's pretty intense. It's pretty intense on the emotions. Now be careful, because I think this is an honorable mention, but it's something that brings this other honorable mention of disappointment. And lucky that you have this Empress energy down beneath. But this is the energy of someone coming in, trying to give you something that you want, but maybe not being able to do that yet. So I feel like, again, there's this partnership, this union feeling, but not necessarily the ability to make it right. Okay, but that's a lot of intensity. A lot of intensity sitting on top of some pretty balanced energy in the backdrop. So again, super curious to understand what you can expect. And I think I might lead off the extended reading with that very question and just kind of see where it wants to take us. There's something here about, I feel like you're gonna, whoa. Okay, so I know some of you are here. I don't think some of you are here yet, but just be watching for it. So we talk about this emotional limitation with this King of Cups here. Now you have the Fool in reverse and the Strength card in the upright. There are some of you who are going to say, I'm looking at this and it doesn't add up. I'm not ready yet, or you're not ready yet, or I'm concerned this isn't going to work out, or something is holding this back. This is you saying things don't add up. This is not them. So Interesting, interesting. They may come to you with an energy that you recognize as, let's say, that of the drunk dial. Maybe you look at it and you say, this is really going to end in a, less than positive way. And I'm going to go ahead and put a stop to this before somebody gets themselves into trouble or creates a situation where the damage control is going to be really bad. It's that type of energy. Some of you are going to be in, some of you are going to be in direct contact with this person, but check this out. This is that emotional distance that needed to be crossed between the two of you before you could really come into any sort of union. And it looks like you're doing it. So this is significant. This is significant, even if the two of you never hit send on a text, even if it's just an energetic interaction that happens here. This is that, that sense of the two of you feeling kind of like home to one another. Part of this is going to be because your issues and their issues match up perfectly, and it actually does feel like home. It actually feels like the situations that helped bring you into being ready for this experience. And some of those could be a little bit less than flattering. Some of them are pretty fantastic. But the other reason that they feel like home to you is because there is a certain level of bond that's occurring on that spiritual level that continues to hold you close even when you're not interacting and you don't have communication in the physical realm. And so this is the sense of you're getting closer in the energetic realm this weekend, regardless of what else is happening. So I do get the sense over here, some of you are going to see that communication, and some of you already have, and it's going to kind of, this thing down here where it says you basically are saying, hold on. It's not an all-out rejection. It's something that you have to have strength to do it and to say, I don't think this is going to end well. There's something in there that you look at it and you determine it's a little bit of an emotional limitation. Just be careful, because the emotional limitation is very much one of the dangers of the lesson of the 10 cups. This has been something that's been emerging for both you and your person throughout the time we've been doing these readings. It's about, what do you do when what you really want appears in front of you? When it seems like it's too good to be true and it appears in front of you. You may even utter the words too good to be true, or they might have, and you look at it, and is the response to run away? Because that is a lot of their responses from the past. Your response may have been to move toward, and with them, then you get this runner chaser dynamic. So let's just be careful. Make sure that you don't move prematurely, I would say. Proactive, sure, but premature, watch out. Let's get you some advice before we go into the extended. So when we get into the extended, we're going to, of course, we're going to lead off with the question of what you can expect. And we'll just let the questions kind of roll from there, depending on what comes out. But first, let's find out what's happening with you and what you can be doing with this type of energy. So regardless of your position, regardless of whether you're even going to let any of this happen or put yourself in a position where any of this can happen in a physical way, where do you need to be focused? That's what we like to ask. Basically, based on what's on this table, what is it that you need to know and what you need to be focused on going forward in the energy of this weekend? Sometimes it's a matter of learning or working on other lessons that are complementary to what is happening across the course of the weekend. Sometimes it's about getting triggered and catching a problem by the tail so that you can start working on it. And you may even choose to do that in private. You may have no choice but to do it in private because you and your person are in no communication right now. These situations are taking a lot of different shapes. So we've got the Ace of Wands. Do something awesome. Do something that you love, that feeds your soul. A lot of you are either engaging something that sets your soul on fire, or you're still seeking that something that we've been talking about that sets your soul on fire. If you've got it, if you've found it, by all means, stick with it. If not, keep up the look. Keep up looking for it. You have the Knight of Pentacles in the reverse, which is kind of, it's just reminding you to keep looking, keep watching, keep up the good work on this. Don't stop moving forward in this energy. That's one of the things that wants to come out for you this weekend. So if you've got a tendency to want to sit back and just let things happen, you're encouraged not to do that. You are encouraged to grab your issues by the tail as they try to come up. Watch for yourself to try and talk yourself out of this. There's very much a sense with the Seven of Swords here of a great ability for self-deception and just being able to redirect yourself and say, I've got too much to think about right now to worry about this thing over here that's reminding me of a pain that's unresolved. Take the time out, if at all possible, even if you're pacing the floor with a new baby, you know, do a little bit of, some of your thought has to go to you. Some of your thought has to go to what you're feeling, how you want. I mean, I know you may not be able to find the time is what I'm getting at, but be sure to spend some of that time thinking about you and your own situation in your own mind. But try not to get too far into the overthinking. Stay with the practical. May not be super evident to figure out what those practical next steps look like. They are generally going to come from your higher self, your connection with your higher self, but it may be particularly difficult to access that higher self just now. So I would just say keep going. It doesn't feel like there's a wall there. It feels like actually this is a much better environment for accessing your higher self. But today might be tough spot for you, particularly in this energy. Maybe even the weekend is a tough spot. There's going to be a desire maybe to push through. To a certain degree, this may work for you, but make sure you're doing it for the right reasons and it doesn't turn into a blind attempt at control, because then it will start to fail for you. Definitely a sense of needing to let go of something. Some of it may be this control that just sort of naturally comes in. It's not even a sense of you saying, oh gosh, I'm going to control this. It's more a matter of, it's just a habit. This is something that historically has worked for you to just kind of push, and then it works, you know? And so here is, just remember to ask the question about whether this is something you should be pushing or whether it's not something you should be pushing. There are lessons to be learned here. There is healing to be done here. And there is something about the way that you see yourself that's going to be changing. Look for advice in this area, but don't get too hooked on things being balanced. What we see there underneath, and those were honorable mentions, but it was the Temperance card upright and the Two of Pentacles in the reverse. The Two of Pentacles in the reverse is kind of a jumbly day-to-day imbalance, but the Temperance behind it that was upright is that long-term being able to stay on the tightrope kind of balance, you know. It's the balance across a whole life. So you have that strong foundation, and it's even stronger in this Empress energy for this weekend. But keep listening for the guidance that comes from places of wisdom. It's not necessarily all going to be the same places, and it won't necessarily be the places that you usually get wisdom, but watch for it, because there are opportunities for you to essentially figure out what you want to do and what you want to be with this situation. Whatever happens here, don't feel like you have to answer it immediately. Take the time with it. This is a rest and rejuvenation card. If this person contacts you, you don't have to feel like you have to respond within minutes. Not to keep them hanging so much as to get your mind together. When it first happens, it looks like it kind of throws you off a little bit, but then you realize, no, I'm more together than that. Keep in mind what may be happening on the other end. Okay, so what looks like it's happening on the other end there is that they are not as far along with the healing as you are, and that they just couldn't help but contact you. Doesn't mean they are ready for this union, but there's so much of this feeling of union. It's like almost their soul is throwing itself at yours, but both of you are aware on some level in the 3D that it's not quite ready for that yet. But there's that sense of moving toward what kind of completion. This isn't quite the end of a cycle. This is the World card, not quite the end of a cycle. Still kind of got some things in motion, some things going on here with the Six of Swords in the reverse. Definitely a sense of things still being in motion, but knowing that there's a sense of moving toward the end game. I feel like this comes out in the same way as this Lovers, in the same way as this Two of Cups. So it's knowledge of moving toward that union together, but not necessarily the ability or the willingness to do it just that. And I feel that unwillingness over here, and it's unwillingness for all the best reasons, so it doesn't feel like the wrong thing. Somewhere in there, we know they're not able to come with a healed version of themselves, so this probably makes good sense for you to say, you know, hold back on some of this a little bit. You're still trying to figure out your way through some of these choices and some of these, what do I really want here? And you need to be given the opportunity to do that, because that is really something that's best done in solitude, or at least without somebody's energy hanging over you. And this person's energy has been very much hanging over you. So I don't see it doing less of that. I see it maybe even going kind of to a next level with you, or getting even closer, so that it's more of that got in on the ground floor sort of vibe, and just a very close feeling. It's a very cuddly, close sort of feeling. I mean, it's just kind of the way that it works out. It's very warm, and their energy and your energy very much coming together to the point where you may feel them reach out, or you may see them reach out. You know, they may actually in the 3D reach out. You're encouraged to keep walking the high road. Keep, keep your wits about you. So like I said, if they do reach out, you don't have to respond right away. No rash responses. Just kind of think about this. If you feel your own healing swishing around, trying to decide how far along it is, this is where you maybe take that opportunity to say, where is there some healing that I need to grab the edge of, and start working on that. Because it feels like you're on a nice trajectory there, but with that lack of super connectivity, I guess, with your higher self, it could be a little bit challenging too. So we're going to go ahead and go into the extended. We're going to start with what you can expect. And this is going to be, I think we'll expand it out. So it's what you can expect, but it's like over the weekend or in the near future. Because as I'm feeling through this energy, this is the energy of the weekend, but it may not spark communication until at some point afterwards. So, but I think some of you, like I said, have already begun to receive communication from this person, and you're sitting over here maybe not jumping on it and saying, oh, what am I looking at here? So you're encouraged to ask that question. Absolutely encouraged to ask that question. So we're going to get into the extended. Like I said, link is down below in the description for the video. I look forward to seeing you there, or I will see you in tomorrow's reading.